Hi, Barry Thompson from boatmags.com. Today we're looking at towing big rigs. And when I mean big rigs, I mean big rigs. This is a Dickey 8-metre custom. This is nearly 9 metres of boat. It's 3,500 kgs on the trailer, so you need something serious to tow it. You need a big diesel, preferably a turbocharged diesel, SUV or a wagon. We've chosen an Isuzu D-Max. This is a 3-litre double overhead cam turbo. Puts at 430 newton metres of torque and 130 kilowatts of power, so there's plenty of grunt to tow a 3,500 kg boat. It's rated unbraked to 750 kgs, it's rated braked to 3,500 kgs. So you've got plenty of power, plenty of weight in this vehicle to tow a big rig. When you're towing, you've got to make sure that your trailer is set up. You've got to remember you've got a big mass on the back. It's not like when you were towing a 5 or 6 metre boat and you can have a single axle, braked or even unbraked trailer. You also got to look at the footprint, and I want to say the footprint, the wheelbase. It's important no matter what vehicle you're towing with, big SUV, 4-wheel drive, you want to have at least 3,000 millimetres between the wheels, and on this it's just over that. So you've got a good area, it's on the ground, plenty of grunt to hold it down, big tyres on there, easy for towing. When you're backing a boat down a boat ramp, it doesn't matter whether it's a big boat or a small boat, it's the same principles apply. Just take it easy, don't get flustered, because then you get into trouble. Now Willie's backing this big custom 800 Dickey down here, nice and straight, nice and slow. We'll get it down as far as he needs to go. He's checked it, there's no one behind him. We've got no boats on the ramp today, so we fortunately don't have to worry about getting out of the way of people. Get it right down to as far as you need to go, and do things quickly and efficiently without being too flustered, because you don't want to hold everybody else up. That's half the secret of getting ramp rage, when people get flustered because people are doing things. We've already made sure that we've got tie downs off, everything's done and ready to go. But being a big boat like this, it's just a little bit more difficult to get off. Now, we've gone back as far as we need to, so that when we unhook everything up the front here, it'll slide off nice and easily. We've got a jetty on the side, so we'll grab a rope, grab someone there to hang on to it. If you don't have a jetty, you'd have a rope off here and you can just hang it on the beach. Not that easy with a boat this big, especially if there's a lot of windage, but there's nothing today, so it's good. So let's have a look at what we've got down here and how we take it off. We've got the boat down at the water's edge and we're ready to put it in. But look here, this is quite different to what you'd see in most sort of 4, 5, 6 metre boats. It's quite a different setup. But you need all this if you're towing a big rig of 3,500 kgs like the Dickey. So we'll start here. First of all, the coupling. It hasn't got the normal surge brakes, which you'd find up to 2,500 kgs. It's got a electro-hydraulic system, in this case the Hydrostar system. Now the Hydrostar comes also with a brake controller inside the cab, so if everything goes awry, you can actually whack the brakes on inside and it'll put the brakes on the trailer. This has got 4-wheel discs, 4-wheel braking. It's also got a system here so that if your breakaway system comes into use, it's a battery, and make sure the battery's going to be charged up, otherwise it doesn't work. Breakaway system, you ask? Right. Now, there's no chains. Now, in a lot of countries, you allow double chains. In New Zealand, you use a single chain on a small boat. Here is a breakaway. And what happens is, if this all comes off, everything breaks out the back, you've got this massive weight dragging behind on chains. It could be quite damaging, could flip your vehicle. Breakaway here, this just pulls off, and whammo, all your 4 brakes just lock up. So this stops and you're free on your vehicle. It's a good safety feature. Put a boat in a water like this, you can't use a hand winch. We've got a backup hand winch here if you really need it, but hopefully you don't. So we've got a 12.5 tonne winch here. We've got commercial grade shackles so that they're strong, you can see the thickness of them, they're specially done. And again, you've still got your tie down here with your chains. So for us to launch now, all we do is plug in this, undo the shackles, undo the chains, and the whole thing drifts off. Okay, now we're next to the jetty here, so normally what we'd do is you'd just back the boat in and put a rope on here, and there'd be someone or 2 people on the jetty and just drag you in. If you haven't got a jetty and you've got a ramp off the beach or somewhere, then you're going to just have to have a rope off the front here. Now remember, there's a lot of volume here, there's a lot of boat, a lot of area. So windage comes into play when you're putting it in the water, and also tide and rip and so forth. It's not the sort of boat you'd launch on your own unless you're very experienced. People can do it. But other than that, you know, a ramp, good jetty, and some people on hand to do something will all help. So it doesn't really matter what you're putting in the water. Big boat, like the Big Dickie, small boat, like the Maclay. Launching ramp etiquette, launching ramp rules, everything are all the same. It's just when you've got a small boat, it's a hell of a lot easier than the big one. So I hope that gave you a bit of an insight into towing a big rig. You know, if you've got a lazy $250,000, $350,000, you want to get a big boat, yeah, great. But just be conscious if you're stepping up from a smaller trailer boat, just what you've got on the back. You've got a lot of volume. Secret is just to be aware of what you're towing. And it's also important to do things slowly. Everything's in bigger volume. So even just driving, you know, stick below the speed limit, I would. I drive with the lights on, which is just a little bit of extra safety feature. And be conscious, of course, when you're coming into corners and car parks and things, just how much you've got hanging out the back. So I hope you enjoyed that and have a good time on the water when we see you this summer.